Then as Misty said, I'm going to require you to be a father. I'm going to require you to be somebody that is responsible for these children. She used to drop the kids off to me with groceries so they could eat, because I was an addict and I didn't eat. Drug addicts don't, at least the kind of drugs I did, you didn't eat. So I said, bring the kids, but I don't have no money because I spend it all on drugs, and I don't have no food because I don't eat. So she said, fine, come and get the kids. Come and get the kids. I remember when the kids were there and it was Darren's birthday and the cops came to look through my house for drugs. And I had to tell Darren that the cops were there because it was his birthday. Yes. Yes. But there are some instructions. Now you may think, oh my God, this cat. But if you ask my kids today, if you ask my kids now, they say, you know what, those things were I was able to see my dad grow, I was able to see him change, I was able to see him develop into something good, but it was in those times that we sold into a relationship where they left, and the mama left, and they put the kids in the car, and the mama left, and I had to stay, that something in me said, I have to be different, I better change, I better do something different, I better react different and act different if I want to be right to those kids. Come on. And I've done some making up, Those situations that I had to go through have made me the father that I am. Have made me the pastor that I am. Have made me the man that I am. And I would say the next time that I'm tempted by drugs, the next time that I'm tempted and the world is full of temptation, that I would say, you know what? I'll never do that to my kids again.
That's right.
Come on now. I'll never do that to my kids again. Because I want to be a good father. Because I want to be a father with discipline, a father with love, a father that instructs and trains and rebukes and restrains and disciplines and guides and warns and provides and supplies their needs. But what happens then is you have to have faith then. Now here's a school of thought now. There's a school of thought then if you're going to have children then, think very, 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 very carefully on who you are going to have children with. And then there's another thing. Then you say, well, it didn't work out, and you know what, I'm always fighting, and I don't like them, and they can't see my kid, and I can't have them. And then they have another kid from the same person. I don't know who's blaming that, the man or the woman. Is what you're doing, though, is what I want you to understand, is that there is some instruction that only a father can give. You got to give them to the Father in faith. You got to give them to the Father in faith. Have some faith in your God. Have some faith in your God. Have some faith in your God that if he can do something with this dad, he can do something with that dad. That may be something the child's going to say while he's in the possession. Maybe there's something that the child's going to say while they're together. Maybe there's something that the child's going to do while they're entertaining one another that's going to cause that father to become a better father, to want to change. But if you never hold him accountable, he'll never change. You drop that kid off the front door and say, I'm going to hold you accountable to something that I didn't create by myself, but you helped me create, and there's some things that only a father can do. Now raise your daughter and raise your son. I'll pick him up on Monday after the party's over. Amen. We was talking to Pastor Misty's dad the other day, and we were talking about how Darren's baby mama wouldn't let him. We haven't seen the baby since Christmas. She won't drop him off, and I was telling Misty's dad, I said, I'd never do that. I said, as a matter of fact, if you want to see my kids, I'll drop them off right now. I'll bring all of them over here. And his wife said, whoa, what are we talking about now? I don't understand. I said, well, I just want you to know I never keep the kids from me. If you want to see them, they can drive over here right now. And it was a funny moment, but there's a seriousness under there, church, is that there are some things that only a daddy can do. And just because you don't like him, or just because you're not getting along, or just because it's not your cup of tea, for whatever reason you love them enough And for whatever reason that God brought a man and a woman together to have a child is reason enough to let him be daddy. Besides that, the child will grow up and be able to make his or her own decision about how that father is or treated them. It's not your decision. It's the child's decision. But at least you could say, you know what, I never denied you, Father. And fathers, I never denied you, Mother. Because kids need that. Kids need a dad. Kids, let me tell you something, mamas. Let me tell you something. This is why you don't have to worry about letting your kids go see daddy. Let me tell you why. Because you know what? When I was growing up, my dad was the coach of my baseball team. And when I remember getting a brand new baseball glove, and he took the baseball and he put it in the glove and he wrapped it around a rubber band and then he stuffed it under the couch. He said, we need to break it in. And he showed me how to break it in, you know, and told me how to catch a ball and how to throw a ball. And you know, he showed me wrestling moves. And he was just always there and always about it. And you know, I think about how dads do this with their kids. You know, they raise their sons and they raise their daughters how to be athletes and they're athletes, and they show them how the gloves, they show them how to bat, and they take them to buy the latest equipment that they need, and then they become famous and they become athletes and they become on the world stage and on the biggest stages, and they're athletes, and they look in the camera and they always say what? Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. After all the daddy has done to show. So mamas, don't worry. Well. Mamas, don't worry. You know, just like a mama can't take the place of a daddy can't take the place of a mama. Why? Because daddies don't kiss boo-boos. When was the last time you said, Daddy, kiss my boo-boo? Man, all right, get up, man up, man. Wipe your tears off. Don't let no one else know you're crying. Get over here. What you their arm hanging off. No, hand up. Wipe your tears away. Come on, it ain't that bad. You know, you tell him that he lost 2 arms and then reattach them and he never cried once. And, you know, and so, but there's just some instruction that only a father can give. Let's go to, where am I? Psalm 68, 5 and 6. A father of the fatherless, a defender of widows, in God is his holy habitation. God sets the solitary in families. He brings out those who are bound into prosperity. He brings those who are bound into prosperity, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. Now let's go back to this. A father of the fatherless. Let me tell you something. Today you may have lost your father. Your father may be gone today. He may have passed away. And you don't have a father in your life. I know that my mother and my mother-in-law both have lost their fathers. And I've been able to see some of their pain and hear some of their words around the holidays or you know, days like today or different scenarios, their birthdays or whatever, where they need a father. You know, you need a daddy. Daddies just bring a presence. Even if they don't say nothing, they just got to show up. You know, daddies just show up, you know, and little sons and daughters look up to their daddy, and they want their daddy there. And daddies are good, but if your father has passed away, then God steps in and says, I'll be a father to the fatherless. I'll give you the same attributes that your worldly or your earthly father has given you. Even though your father, your physical father, has passed away and gone on to be in heaven. Sister Grace don't have her father either, and gone on to be in heaven. But still he says, I'll be your father. I'll be the things that you need. I'll be there to encourage you. I'll be there to talk you up. I'll be there to protect you. I'll be there to guide you. I'll be there to listen to you. I'll be there to whatever it is that you need. I'll be there to watch you. I'll be there to clap for you. I'll be there to give you advice and comfort you and chastise you and supply your needs and guide you and train you and restrain you and nourish you. And all of these things, though, so that you don't miss out on the experience of having a father. So even if your father has passed away or is gone from your life, or even from the littlest times in your life, you still get the Heavenly Father that will come in and still give you the experience of having a dad.
Amen.
And then he says, God sets the solitary in families. So then, as God uses me as a shepherd, or God uses me as a pastor, or God uses me as your spiritual father, then I invite you into this spiritual family so that you have spiritual brothers and spiritual sisters, and you have a spiritual mother, and you have a spiritual father, and now you are part of a spiritual family. So you get the family experience. You get to say, hey, brother, how you doing? Oh, good, that's good for you. Hey, sister, how you doing? Oh, I'm happy for you. And you get to experience what it's like to be a part of a family, even if you don't have one. Can you say amen? Because he says, I'm going to take you, and I'm going to take you from being alone, and now I'm going to put you into a family. Now, there's just a small group of us today, but we are part of a family that is way, way bigger than our minds can comprehend. That no matter what state we go to, or what country we go to, or what part of town we go to, we know that we are part of a family where we have brothers and sisters all over this nation. Amen. And you are not alone. And you are part of a family. And you have a father. Don't ever say that you don't have a father. Because you either have me as your spiritual father, or you have God the Father who is in heaven. Can you say amen?
Amen.
I'm almost done. Psalms 127. I want you, for it to be healthy for you. I want you as parents to be healthy with who your baby daddy is or who your baby's mama is. You treat them with respect, even if they disrespected you. You do it for the child's sake. You do it for the kid's sake. In the same token as fathers, you need to straighten up, and you do it for the children's sake. You do it for the children's sake because you get one crack at being a father. You know, it was so neat because when I saw my grandpa up here talking about when he was growing up, he was talking as a son. Even though he's a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather, and possibly a great-great-grandfather. But when he was up here talking, he was talking as a son. He was talking as a child. He was talking as saying, this is what my father means to me. He didn't come up here and say what his attributes were as him being a father to his children. I think that's the child's job. Can you say amen? It's the child's job to get up and say how good of a parent that you are. And it might be a little crazy to get up here and say what a good parent that you are. But he gets up here and he says, let me tell you how much my father meant to me as a son. And so it was neat then to see him still that where no matter how old that he gets, he still says that I am a child because I have a father and I have a mother. Amen. Amen. Psalms 127, 3 and 5 says, 3 through 5. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but shall speak with their enemies in the gate. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. It says, like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. So as you have children then, the children that you have, they become weapons in your hand. They become like arrows that you can shoot wherever you need to shoot them. Your children become a blessing. They become something amazing in your hands. The other day, my mom and dad got a flat tire. And they said, come and help us change the flat tire. And it was my honor to go and change their flat tire for them. But isn't that what a child should do? Isn't that what children are for? That children will come. You know what, one of the rules in my house is that I should never have to throw the trash. I have children, I have kids that are healthy, they're young, they're strong. I should never ever have to throw the trash. Because as a child in my hand, you are the thrower of the trash. Amen? It's like a weapon. Amen? You ever have beans too long on the stove and a few days go by and you say, put that in the trash and get rid of that. And you know, I just like I can't touch it. You know, like, oh man, that's trash. And somebody come and call somebody. Let's text somebody. The trash is, come on now, where my arrows at? Where the trash man at? You know, and even, you know, my wife should gather the trash, and then even, what are you doing that for? We got people for that. Put that there, we got people that do that. Throw the trash. But your children, then as children, then he says you're like an arrow in the hand of your parents. Then as your children become educated, as your children become responsible, as your children begin to do things for you, it's like a weapon in your hand. And it's a blessing. So then as we are in the hand of God, God says that I hold you in the palm of my hand. As we are in the hand of God, we are like an arrow in the hand of God that he can shoot to Texas, or he can shoot to New York, or he can shoot to California, or he can shoot to Colorado Springs, or he can shoot to South Denver for whatever purpose that he desires. Because we are a weapon in God's hand. In the fight with the devil, God uses us then as a weapon. Then as me and the paganists sit on the porch and begin to argue our beliefs, then God is using me as a weapon. And God is, you know what her best bet would have been? Was to just never say nothing. Yes. Because now that she opened her big mouth, now I get to go on my knees and I get to pray against the darkness. I get to pray against the enemy. I get to pray against the confusion. They're better off just being quiet. Now they got to deal with me as all right. Rest that house. Lord, get it. I told Missy, I said I would throw that trash for him, but I'm afraid of what they might have in the trash. Walk over it, you want to be a good person and grab the trash. I had an old neighbor that used to always throw my trash in the apartments, and it was just such a blessing. But I'm afraid of their trash. They were listening to cat bones.